Hi, everybody. I'm Kevin Ioli from Yahoo Sports. And I tell you what, we try to go live to the scene, but you can't get any more live than this. My next guest, one of the best young fighters in the world, right out of hitting the mitts, over here to talk to me, Ryan Garcia. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing great, great. Just finished working a little bit, but I'm okay.
I appreciate you coming over. Yeah, I heard you hitting those mitts. It sounded like you were pounding away pretty good over there.
Yeah, I'm just working hard every day. That's it.
For people who don't know, I just want to give a little background. You're 15-0 with 13 knockouts. Golden Boy's top prospect. Last year, ESPN named you the prospect of the year. Yahoo Sports, I had Teofimo Lopez prospect of the year. I had you the runner-up. So you're obviously one of the best fighters out there. Are you going to
Yeah.
fight on the Canelo Triple G card, or do they have other plans for you?
They have other plans. They're gonna get me my own card. I'm gonna be my own main event.
So will it be that week, or will it be prior to that?
It'll be prior to that. It'll be September 1st.
Oh, okay.
My next fight is September 1st.
And do you feel like, Ryan, that that's a good thing? Like if you headline instead of being under the shine of Canelo and everybody's focused on him, that by being on a separate card, even if it's not as big, that you'll kind of get the attention and let people see how good you are.
Of course, I mean, Canelo's a great fighter and I respect him, but like all the other fighters in the past time, they usually, fight under the undercards of a, more known fighter. But I feel like the generation I'm in, I can do it myself. I feel like I have a big enough fan base to grow on my own. So I just feel like this is the best choice I could have made to have my own card.
I covered your promoter Oscar De La Hoya from the beginning, his pro debut, and a lot of similarities. Both fighting at 130 pounds at the beginning, both good-looking guys, both have a lot of offensive ability. Do you feel like has there been pressure put on you with the comparisons to Oscar, one of the great fighters of all time, or is that a good thing for you?
No, I'm blessed to be compared to one of the great fighters of all time because that just shows everybody how how much potential I have to do in this game for time to come. So I'm honored to be compared to Oscar, but of course, like a young legend would say, I want to go even further what he did.
That's pretty big stuff because he went all the way up to middleweight, and he fought everybody. I mean, the one thing about Oscar, whatever you want to say, he fought everybody out there. I mean, Trinidad, Mayweather,
He did. Yeah.
so is that kind of the way you're going to want to be? And as a 19-year-old, I'm sure the matchmakers want to move you at a certain pace. Are you saying to them, hey, let's push the pace and fight maybe a little better competition?
Basically, this is what I say. I want to fight the best right now. We'll see how we fare before our primes, and then we can fight again when we're in our primes. That's just the mentality I have. I want to fight Gervonta Davis right now, see who wins, and then later on we can see who wins down the line.
You were 215 and 15 in the amateurs. Why didn't you hang around fight amateur a little bit longer? What led you to decide to turn pro?
Well, I made the Team USA for the youth team, but they changed the age range to 19 to qualify for the Olympics. So I felt, there's no need to stay amateur if they're gonna fight you without headgear. There's just no point. I don't get it. It's not amateurs then.
So if you would have been 21 years old, been fighting in the Olympics, potentially a gold medal, how much did you weigh the fact of what a gold medal would have meant and how much money that could have been to your career versus what you just said, hey, getting on with the pro career and getting a head start?
The thing with me, I have a great vision and a great mindset. I knew what this generation has. It's completely different. Um, I believed in myself. I knew what how much excitement I could bring to the sport early, and that's what I did. So, I mean, I just pretty much bet it on myself.
What about you mentioned Tank Davis? I mean, he's obviously a world champion, a guy with a lot of talent.
Yeah.
What would be the given he has more experience than you as a pro, he's fought better opposition than you as a pro. What would be the challenge for you facing a guy like at this point?
I think just being composed with Gervonta, he's a very aggressive fighter. But if you establish your range and your jab and stay composed, I feel like watching his fights, he doesn't really do too well in the later rounds. So I feel like if I stay composed, stay focused, have a long training camp, I'll be able to beat him pretty easy.
You went 10 rounds with Jason Velez in May at the StubHub Center. Did that prove a point to you, the fact that you were able to go out there and beat a veteran fighter and over a 10 round period, that you knew you were ready for that next step?
Most definitely. There hasn't been a 19-year-old to step up in competition like that. You look at all the other prospects; they were way older when they stepped into competition. I mean, I think the only one I could think of is Devin Haney to step up in competition early. But other than us two, nobody has really wanted to step it up. So I feel like I proved the point.
I mentioned Teofimo Lopez earlier. I know he's fighting at a weight division above you. Uh, he's a guy that's very cocky, talking about fighting big fights. Is he a guy on your radar? Do you think we'll see a Garcia Lopez fight someday?
Oh yeah, definitely. Him and his dad do talk a lot about me, but I get it. I'm a big name in the sport. They want to come after me, but you got to be careful what you wish for because it could bite you in the butt.
I mean, if Top Rank went to Golden Boy and said, "Hey, we want to make that fight now," which I don't think that they're going to do. Let's be clear about that. Would
Yeah,
you take that fight now, even though he's fighting at lightweight and you're fighting at 130?
most definitely. I have no fear of him. He's a regular fighter that I wouldn't be too concerned about.
Really, a regular fighter. I mean, he seems like he has a lot of skills. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about Devin Haney. I know you fought him in the amateurs. What do you remember about the? You fought him in the USA. What was it, under 17s? When you?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you remember about
Yeah.
that fight?
Me and him, we had a rivalry since we were 8, 9 years old. At all the tournaments, it was us, in the finals all the time. And I beat him at the Junior Olympics. He beat me at the Junior Worlds. We go back and forth. Me and him are probably, whenever we fought, all the crowds went because they knew it was going to be explosive. It was going to be a great fight. So I feel like that fight is the big money fight in the future.
Interesting. And one thing, we mentioned comparing you to Oscar, and obviously you're a smart guy and a well-spoken guy, but Oscar was able to handle all the interviews and all the attention and everything that goes on that's a distraction outside of the cage. Has he discussed that with you? And as you start to move up and get more prominent, more people are going to want to talk to you. How do you deal with that and prevent that from becoming a problem in your career and getting overwhelmed by all the demands?
Yeah, it's definitely different, especially in these times with social media and everything. People come at you at every way possible, but he just tells me, the main thing that you want to do is prepare yourself for the fight because if you don't win, all those other opportunities are not going to follow because boxing is really, what's my bread and butter, not acting, not, social media. It's boxing. So I have to stay focused the best way I could, and that's training.
Last thing I want to talk to you about is money, and a guy like you who can fight, and you're going to appeal to the Hispanic audience as well as the rest of the audience, and if you get out there, you have a chance to make a lot of money. Have you thought about that? And kind of like look at people like Mayweather and like Canelo who are making those huge amounts of money a fight. Is that something that's sort of been a motivator for you?
It's I wouldn't say money's a motivation for me. It's comes with the sport I'm in, but really what I'm looking for is exposure because the more exposure I have, the more chance I have to show people what my talents are. The money's gonna come regardless whether I worry about it or not. So focus on winning.
Well, we will let you focus on training, get back into the gym, and do your work. I appreciate you very much. Look forward to seeing you fight on September 1st, not on September 15th.
Yes.
All the best to you, Ryan.
Yeah. God bless.
Thank you, brother.